talking
That's
about.
why, that's why I have my
Can't
hat
tell, I
on.
can't see.
Take the mask off,
The
Dave.
product placement. Hmm?
Take the mask off.
I wore that mask for a few years.
My goodness. You do that better than I do. You use your microphone.
Yep.
Hey everybody, here we are live streaming. We're on air right now on the Duncan Showroom YouTube channel. And one of the things we've been doing on these one Sunday a month is I had the opportunity, because I had some tumors on my liver that I was diagnosed with after trying to get rid of Hep C. They did a final amazing pill that they give you that for 90 days at $1,000 a day that you don't pay, the government does, that they can cure Hep C. And that's a whole other story how that came about, whatever. But they did a final test to make sure everything was okay, and that's when they discovered the 3 tumors on my liver. And so that was when, after having been given a year's encouragement to come to the process of laser therapy, I decided to maybe take that up. And Josh convinced me to go in. So it's been a year, a little over a year for me. And every time I go in for the new MRI, the two of them are now missing. The other one's in really, really heavy recession. They didn't know what was going on with them, but the fact that they're disappearing really makes me feel good. You know, that's the kind of stuff that you like to know. Hey, you know, it's not something anybody can see. Hey, I noticed your tumors are getting smaller. No, they don't notice that, right? But people do walk out to me constantly saying, God, you're looking awful good. And for me to be improving your physical appearance over a period of a year when you know you weren't feeling good. So to have that happen, it's like, wow, something's going on here that even if I'm not aware of it, other people are. And one of the things I've noticed, by the way, today we're going to be doing, hopefully, as we're changing it up each and every week, trying to find ways to get the information out to people about what photobiomodulation can do in the healing process. I was kind of worried about my hair. I had really long hair for a long time and really thick, and it started coming out in droves for about 2 or 3 years. I actually have a collection, no one knows this except my partner, Georgia. I have a little basket with all the hair that's come out of my head in the last, and it was like a lot of it, you know. And it was like never having had a haircut for 50 years. It was a part of my life. It's a part of me. And I started noticing it was just getting thinner, and it was starting to bother me. But in the last year, I sort of given up on even thinking about it because I'm noticing little hairs coming up on the top now, new growth, this is a side effect, by the way. There's new growth going up. And, you know, and I'm going to keep it up because I figure if I keep it up, I probably will get the hair growing on the other side of my face, too.
I doubt it.
The growth patterns, it's so strong. But I'm only been going half the time. No, I go full time. There's a lot of things about photobiomodulation and about the whole healing process that's taken on by Genoa laser therapy, of which Josh and Crystal here are the forerunners, the people who make it all happen, people who've brought it to the Cowichan Valley. So today they've got a new approach, and that's going to be some testimonials from people that they've worked with. And I think you'll find this quite interesting. So please, here's Josh Crawford.
Thanks, John. Thanks for coming, you guys. I'd like to introduce Curtis and David, and we just want to talk about your experience, what got you to come to us, and then your experience of what you've done with us, kind of maybe time frame, how long you've been getting laser therapy, and some of the benefits that you've seen. So, Kurt, tell us your story.
Hi. Aiden and Sage went to school together at Q of A, and Josh comes up to me one day and goes, "Oh, you gotta come try this laser." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. I've done therapy and nothing's ever stuck." So Josh comes to me the next day and goes, "You gotta come do this laser." Oh, okay, Josh. So then I go to his house, get laser done to my back, in which, you know, it felt great. And then I went to watch Sage play hockey for two-hour hockey games, and I stood the whole time with no pain. It's like, what's going on? And it was because of the laser. So I've been doing it for almost 4 years now, and it has definitely improved my quality of life in different aspects. My physical mobility, my speech is probably 200% better than what it was before, And I had my accident in 1989, so I've had all those years of recovery and stuff. But it's amazing, and little things. I feel better. I feel more energized after I leave the clinic, and it's pretty amazing. And of course, how many other people are being helped and healed from this?
So Curtis, can I ask you, would you mind sharing a little bit of history of where you were at, how you got there, and why Josh came to you in the first place and said you really got to try this?
Yes. Well, I was playing hockey in '89. I was 16. Me and a couple buddies got into a car accident. I suffered a head injury. I was in a coma for a month. And then after I came out of a coma, I was at the Vic General for a couple months, and then went over to the Gorge Rehab. And Josh, I've known since we were kids due to hockey, the almighty game of hockey. But and he came to me and said this laser, and like I say, I didn't believe it, but now I'm a firm believer, and I will tell anybody and everybody that will listen to me that it's a healing process. It took my mom almost 2 years to finally get her to come in, and now she's pretty well healed with 2 torn rotator cuffs. So yeah, that's just one person in my family, and my brother's come in with barely being able to walk into the clinic and walking out of the clinic after an hour's session. So it's not just me or Dave or Crystal or Josh. It is a healing process for anybody and everybody, but you do have to believe in it. And I believed in it, but I didn't understand it at first, because this light is healing me, and I do understand it, but
Well, the idea that we're giving your body the tools that it needs because it wants to be healed, right? It's your body wants to repair itself,
yes.
right? So that idea of facilitating that for you. Yeah. So I mean, this is a pretty special thing for me. Like Kurt said, we grew up together, similar circles, and after Kurt's accident, I remember this weirdness I was only 14 at the time, and not long before, we would show up at the rink, and these boys, the older boys, they're playing. We're like, hey, that's going to be us next year, right? That's going to be our team. So we looked up to these guys that were incredible hockey players, and then he disappears after the spring, comes back to school in September, and it's like he's he's stranger, he's a completely different person, and it was weird as a kid to see that, and then to be able to now come 30 years later to be able to share something like this with you. It's pretty special to me.
Yeah. And like when I was in a coma, I lost 50 pounds when I was in a coma, and my left leg didn't even work. So it's always been a struggle and a fight. But with the laser, I find it easier and more rewarding. It's like I say, every day I leave, I'm feeling better, more energized, and in turn, that's my quality of life. It's better, especially, well, for me and my family as well, because they have to live with me and put up with me, right?
Awesome.
So it's
Awesome. Thanks.
It's been a good road, and I'm not done yet.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, David, tell us a little bit of your story.
Oh, accustomed as I am to doing this. Okay, I guess it all started in 2014. I fell off a mezzanine in my shop and ended up with post-concussion syndrome. Of course, WorkSafe is very supportive, as most people know, but I won't get into that. It's not that long of a program. So going through the process with everything, nothing they really seem to do helped. They send you for physical stuff that doesn't help your head. And my wife started getting treated by Josh and before Crystal came along. And she kept saying, you have to do this, you have to do this. But until I settled all the stuff with WorkSafe, I didn't want to proceed with something I knew was going to help me. So eventually we settled stuff. I started going to see you guys. You had just gotten the helmet, I think, when I started around that time. And I was a very social person before the accident. My personality changed a lot after the concussion, as some people here can testify to. So with a lot of work and stuff and the helmet treatment, basically I went from working 4 hours a day, requiring a nap in the afternoon, to no social life. Yeah, just nothing. To now I'm back to working full days. I have a social life again. My personality's getting better, I think. But it's all to the thanks of these guys. I mean, I can't say enough good about it, and I preach it too.
Oh yeah,
So
it's an amazing process.
So, what were some of the things that that you'd see changes like working with the work that you do and stuff like that? Where did you see the limitations from the issues that you're having with the post-concussion stuff?
my limitations were fatigue, severe fatigue that wasn't recognized by anyone except my personal doctor, because you're supposed to be better in 2 to 3 weeks. And when you don't fit into the little box, they don't know what to do with you. But the fatigue was my biggest hurdle. The physical stuff wasn't a problem. I didn't get affected physically. It was all cognitive function. And yeah, I think within about two sessions of the helmet, I started to improve, where I gradually started to be able to work more and start to come out of that.
So was it
From that cloud.
was it focus type stuff, like you were to have some specific jobs that you're having to do, and it was like
I'm
problem
in
solving?
construction, so it's a lot of thought about process, and basically you have to figure stuff out before you do it.
Problem
A
solving.
lot of problem solving. So yeah, that's a lot of thinking. Doing quotes and stuff using the computer was really hard to do.
And so now, like, what kind of level are you back to as far as productivity and
Productivity,
endurance?
pretty much. I think I'm pretty good now for endurance and stuff. I can, like I said, work the full day. My left eye doesn't close now halfway through the day. Yeah, I'm just heading up. I mean, I don't see me stopping. But
How often, how long have you been coming to Genoa?
I started, I think, around September 2 years ago. So about 1.5 years now, I guess. And initially I was twice a week, and then I went to once a week, and now I'm once every 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
So, and
So-
we do my adrenal glands too, which seems to help a lot.
So how do you feel now, coming once every 2 weeks? What do you see in how you feel from within those 2 weeks before you're back to the clinic for your next appointment?
In what way?
So, do you feel do you hit a certain point where you're feeling like your energy is just decreasing and you're not able to maintain that energy level, or is it pretty straight across the board now?
Probably about the 2-week period I start to feel a little more tired, but overall it's pretty steady.
So coming the 2 weeks is sort of as like a maintenance, so you
Yeah.
don't have to play catch up
Yeah.
with all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to start all over again.
Yeah.
So if you could say to anybody out there that that hears this or gets this message shared to them about how they're feeling with a post concussion, what would you say to them of the benefits that we could help them with? What would you say to someone if you saw them hurting and suffering? What would be a way that you would describe this to somebody?
Anytime I see anyone hurting and suffering, I tell them about you guys, and I preach the gospel, and to the point where some people are tired of hearing me say it. I carry your pamphlets around with me. It's like, you got this? Oh, go see Josh and Crystal. Yeah, it's just, improvement of their life, like get your life back. Because it just, concussions are a terrible thing, and I don't know or understand why the health system, they have all this information about it, but they don't help people properly with it. They direct them other places that isn't beneficial, and they don't listen to the people that have it.
Yeah. Yeah, if there's one thing that I would like to share is just the fact that the therapy that we do with photobiomodulation is a part of a bigger picture, right? It's not a be all to end all, and that's the one thing that I want everybody to really understand, is that we're just a part of that puzzle, right? It's how you treat your body, it's what you put into your body, what your body's made out of is literally everything that goes into your mouth. But when there's dysfunction or an injury in the body, sometimes your body needs that little extra boost, that little extra oxygen and energy to do the job. So really, that's what I want to preach more, is that, it doesn't matter what walk of life or what belief background, or if it's medical or if you're Chinese medicine or whichever, there's a way that we can actually help support and work together as a team, right? The whole idea of integrative medicine or integrative wellness is that everything has a role. Everything has a role.
And I think also that whether it's concussion symptoms or it's accidents, you don't have to suffer. You're not alone, and you don't have to suffer. So.
The biggest thing that I find with the helmet and such is my clarity. My thinking is so much quicker and straighter than what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Even at my peak, I still was not thinking as clear as I am now, and I'm 31 years post head injury. So if it's helping me, it's going to help everybody. I wish I had this like right after I had my accident. I'd still be playing hockey. It's an amazing trip, and I'm still going on it. It's been a really good experience.
Very cool. Very cool.
Thanks, Sid. Thanks,
You find
Sid.
it gives you sort of, it shows you a light at the end of the tunnel?
Yes, yeah.
There's a ray of hope all of a sudden,
Yeah.
from where we were to where we can see a possibility that we thought wasn't in our realm.
That's right. We're doing things, things that I wasn't doing 6 months ago. I'm doing it now, right? And as you get older, of course, your body declines anyways. And this has kind of stabilized me, so I'm not going so much farther down. I'm staying more level, that's what we all want, right? Is our health and,
Well, our body can only cope for so long, right?
That's
Like
right.
our body is a
Machine.
master builder and a master machine. But as we're going along, sometimes we can't keep up. We can't repair as fast as things are being broken. So
right.
just getting us that boost and getting us to that level. And I love John's word there with hope.
Yeah.
If anything, that's when people are in so much pain or dysfunction, and that's the first thing that they lose. They lose that hope of what kind of life am I gonna have, right?
Well, that's right. And to go in there and feel better after each treatment, after 4 years, there is that hope and there is that light, and it's all good. It's really brings up your spirits, right? Brings up your spirit and makes you want to invest in something and to do things that you weren't doing the day before or the week before because of how you feel, right? And that's some of the biggest things that I find. I'm able to do stuff that I was doing 5 years ago that I wasn't doing a year ago, and things like that, right? Where everything goes up and down, but now, like I say, it's more plateaued,
Brilliant.
which, it's better for me, wife and kids.
So So what about, here's a question that comes up with a lot of head injuries. We get stuck. We talk about this hope, but it's sadness, it's depression,
it
it's
Frustration.
misery, frustration. Yeah. Knowing that you can do something, but you're not able to right
But you
now,
can't.
right? Yeah. So the hope brings, it helps with that anxiety. It helps with the depression. It helps, we now have proven report after report and study and publications that we know that one of the biggest benefits, even somebody that's got a broken leg and they've got in a cast for 6
Yeah,
months,
It's gonna heal.
right?
It's gonna help it heal. It'll speed things up.
Absolutely, but they have that emotional part of it too. That
Yeah.
that oh my God, that sadness, that depression, that anxiety. That am I going to be the same as I was before I was injured?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So helping that, and I think that is a huge spiritual lift. And I
Oh,
love how you said that.
It's huge. But just when you leave the clinic, you see people coming in and you're talking to them and you're giving them hope as well. Like when I leave, I like to talk to the other clients or other people, and just kind of tell them my story a little tad, just a little bit, but giving them hope. Of course, they're gonna feel better right off the bat. It's like, oh, well, it's worked for him, so it should work for me, right? And it does. It really does. It's an amazing process that I've been able to be a part of for past 4 years and years to come.
Well, thank you for trusting us.
Anything else you guys want to add?
One thing about concussions I found is because you get frustrated and depressed, that the medical system wants you to use
Pills.
pills. Yeah. So
And
you don't need the pills.
this is the alternative
Yeah.
of not taking a pill.
Yeah, it's not something that's going to mess up your body.
It's gonna heal it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys very much for coming and joining us today, because I know it's, as much as you want to share it, you're being very vulnerable with your story as well to share with everybody. So we appreciate that very, very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for allowing us to be a part of this journey to help you.
And one thing we have to remember it's life, and we have to do the best we can with our lives for what we have, right? Whether it be a whole bunch or a little, it's just the quality of life is what you make it,
Absolutely.
right?
Well said.
Well said. All right.
I just want to throw out there, if you're sitting at home and you're wondering about a specific condition or anything, if you have any questions whatsoever, give our clinic a call or send us an email or contact us on Facebook. We want to know what questions you have so that we can inform, we can educate, or we can potentially get more people coming up and sharing their stories with you so you can hear potentially a similar situation that you might be experiencing. So feel free to give us a call. Our number is 250-701-5380, and our website is genoalasertherapy@gmail.com, or look us up on Facebook.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thanks, guys.